Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you. So I'm coming at you with some NR format decks. As you're probably aware of by now, the NR Duel trial is currently underway, and I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of getting to play Master Duel's best event format. I got 3 different decks for my 3 wins for you here. This first one's going to be Tri-Brigade Spright. This is based on a deck I found on YGO Pro Deck, and this was a ton of fun. Of course, you know me, I'm definitely going to try to jam Spright whenever and wherever I can, and although all of the searchers, Blue, Jet, Starter, and Gigantic are banned, we do still have Red and Carrot, and with negates so rare in this format, I think these cards are exceptionally powerful. Of course, the Tri-Brigade engine is very good in our format. It's all legal. All 4 of the main deck monsters and Revolt, that is. Now, you don't get any of the extra deck cards from Tri-Brigade, but you do still get to make some decent extra deck options. We still have Rugal the Silver Sheller from the Tri-Brigade deck. We also have Racevulgar, which is a Link 3 Winged Beast monster that's Graveyard Disruption and can potentially get up to 4,800 attack points if your opponent has no monsters in the graveyard, so quite good. There's also the Crusadia Regulus, I think it's called, which can gain some attack points as well. And we have a decent selection of rank 2s to make. Decided to pair it with the Melfi engine here. Again, I actually saw that on the YGO Pro deck I found, but I really like the decision there. It opens up a lot of disruption options as well as consistency options in the form of not only searching our Tri-Brigade stuff, but also getting to make Merry Melfis. There's a decent amount of rank 2s here. All the ones you see here have some kind of like negate or advantage gaining effect as well, which is pretty cool. This deck in particular, I think I actually want to play a little bit more, so I think maybe tomorrow's video might actually just be me playing this deck even more, but with like live gameplay. I'm thinking about like recording that as soon as I'm done recording this video here. Oh, I also end up playing Codebreaker, Zero Day, and Zero Swordsman in a lot of these decks. I think that those cards are potentially quite strong, although to be fair, I don't think you necessarily need the main deck one as badly. But anyway, so yeah, this hand doesn't have a lot to do as far as like comboing goes. We do have a spell Trap Negate in the form of Carrot as well as multiple Melfi monsters. Our opponent's going to be on some amount of the Metamorph deck here, starting off with the Zoa. As soon as they summon that, I'm going to bounce both the Caddy and the Puppy. Puppy lets me summon the Kit from deck, and then Caddy lets me add Karos. So yeah, that's why I really like the Melfi package in this deck. Being able to search your Tri-Brigade stuff is exceptionally good. And, of course, being in our format, it is definitely slow enough for you to gain that kind of incremental advantage. Yeah, so they're going to have 3 back rows here. I'm going to wait till the end phase to use the Melfi Penny effect, because, of course, I don't want them to be able to activate the True Draco spell that they searched off of the... I guess they could still activate it, though, right? Off the effect. Well, they would be able to activate the continuous spell card, but they wouldn't be able to use its effect, obviously, because it's the end phase. But yeah, I'm going to marry Melfi to bounce the Zoa here. That way, any potential Metamorph cards will no longer be live. Going for the Kit effect right off the bat here. Just wanted to see if my opponent would have a response. They do get to search off the Ignis Heat, but that's probably going to be about all they have. We know one of the back rows is the Metamorph trap card, which is now dead. I'm a little bit worried about some of the other back rows, which is why I'm going to summon the Firefighting Doll here. But we just end up hitting another Metamorph trap card anyway. Linking into the Rugal here to get the Kit in the graveyard. That way I can go Kit F in order to dump Nerval, Nerval F to grab Fractal here. I still have both Karos and Fractal, which can both be summoned and can both use their effects. This is why I think Tri-Brigade is quite good in our format. It has the ability to board spam, which not a lot of decks in this meta do. Now, granted, I'm not like the most versed on NR format. I've played a little bit of unofficial NR format, but that also has like its own ban list, which is very different from the Master Duel one, so unfortunately couldn't really apply a lot of that experience here. Blackwing is going to be the next deck I want to try. I was just looking through various archetypes, synchro archetypes, of course. If I'm not playing sprites, you know I definitely want to be synchro summoning, and I realized that Blackwings actually have a lot of very powerful tools in this meta. They have the Delta Crow Anti-Reverse, which is a Harpy's Feather Duster effect. They have the Black Sonic, which is a Mirror Force effect that banishes. Kalute is an Honest type of hand trap effect. the one before Chinook is also potentially an effect veiler. It can negate monster effects, and it's a quick effect if you control a dark synchro monster. On top of that, it just has a lot of board spam ability too. Shura being able to summon stuff, including tuners, as well as both Bora and Chris the Crackdon, which are strong level 4s that can summon themselves. That makes Wing Rickriddle a draw 2 spell here live a lot of the time. So I really do think that Blackwing, like I said, has a lot of very strong tools in this meta. For this build, I think the extra deck I would have definitely swapped around in some of the ratios of the synchro monsters in particular. This build I didn't find anywhere. This one I actually just kind of like brainstormed together myself. I'm sure it could definitely be optimized. I know it could be optimized for sure, but yeah, that one Lost Wind. It's so interesting that they crafted a ban list for this format. I really hope that indicates that they're going to support it more in the future. I'll talk a little bit here towards the end of the video about why I really like this format, but yeah, like I said, a lot of my previous experience with unofficial NR formats had like custom ban lists. So for example, I played quite a bit of Tier Limit and it, you know, custom or unofficial NR formats with custom ban lists because Merle and Havness were legal. But Merle's not legal here because it's still following the official Master Duel ban list, just with some additional hits, and then Havness is still at 1. So, but yeah, a lot of different interesting options you can explore here. All right, so going into our duel here in just a second. There we are. Yeah, so with this deck in particular, the board spam ability is going to happen a lot of times more during the battle phase because of Shura, right? As opposed to Tri-Brigade, which can kind of set up a lot of stuff during the main phase and then potentially swing in for an OTK. I would say Blackwing in this format is a little bit more of a sort of slow roll advantage deck. Me just avoiding using the word mid-range. I guess to be fair, mid-range applies a little bit more in older Yu-Gi-Oh! Or not necessarily older Yu-Gi-Oh! But slower Yu-Gi-Oh! But I'm kind of surprised with the Herald of Greenlight here. I did kind of think about playing a Fairy deck because having access to any amount of hand traps in this format is really good. I just thought it was a little bit hard to recoup the advantage with a lot of them. But I didn't realize so many of the Star Seraph cards were legal as they are, so that's interesting. But anyway, yeah, with like a slower format, you know, like I was saying, then I think the differential between like combo and mid-range becomes a lot more pronounced and becomes a little bit more worth exploring. So in phase, I'm going to grab Kalut here, just in case you try to battle into Shura, and then I can just, you know, boost it up to 3,200 attack points. My opponent appears to be on some amount of a Fluffle deck here, but didn't really get to get their stuff going here, as I was about to use the Paleozoic Deinamiscus here to simply banish their Toy Vendor as it was resolving. And our third deck here is going to be Orcust. This is, I guess, pretty much the build that's kind of floating around for Orcust. I know MBT played it, but I know it was also pretty prominent in the previous NR format as well. A lot of the powerful Orcust cards are, you know, particularly Harpor and Orchestrated Nightmare and all that fun stuff are, of course, N or R. So we can use Scrap Recycler to dump them and then combo off here. Now, Orcust has a lot of board building potential, but rather than summoning a lot of monsters, it can actually build up to a Link 4, which there are not a lot of in this format, by the way. You know, the Link decks are still quite good, but even then, a lot of the time, the top end of what they're summoning is like, you know, the Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, which is a 3,000 attack vanilla. Yeah, slower, low power format means that even with the, you know, good summoning or consistency tools that we have, there's only so much you can do on the ceiling of things. But Orcust, with the, you know, orchestration, the Link 4, not only has a really good body, but also, of course, with the field spell, has a potential quick effects to both negate and or drop their monster's attack to 0. So that's pretty good. I was really surprised in particular just how much the format updates really, or the card pool update really mattered to the NR format. You know, the last one was the second event ever in Master Duel. That was 3 years ago, which it never really occurred to me, you know, before doing this duel trial, but that's quite a bit of cards added to the game, and quite a bit of, you know, a gap as far as formats go. So I just think being able to explore NR format again is so cool. Again, I really hope they choose to keep it around in some capacity, but I'm not hopeful for that. I mean, I know I just said I hope it, but I'm not hopeful. I want it to happen, but I'm not gonna, like, you know, I'm not banking on it. Cashier Ogre and Prep is kind of interesting. That's one of the more interesting new additions to the NR format, in my opinion. I do think that there is some potential to use it, but I see it kind of jammed in every single deck. Both of them, that is. And I don't know if that's quite how I think they should be played. Now, here in this deck, we are making rank 7s, which is why I did decide to include Ogre and Prep. But even then, after opening this pretty good, you know, turn 1 hand, I still found myself thinking, do I really need to be playing Cashier Preparations too? I kind of don't think that I do. So in the future, that might end up getting cut. But here we have a very solid opening. We have the Orchestration, we have the, you know, Field Spell as well. So, like I said, that's the kind of board that you could potentially build up to. Thankfully, we went first here because our opponent's on D-Fissure, as well as the, you know, Yuumi back row based deck. So, and wow, I forgot they conceded that early. Just really did not want to play into my board at all, huh? Even with the D-Fissure up. Makes sense, though. I can beat them down pretty consistently there. So, yeah, in our format, like I said, I really, really love it. I think that it's something really cool. It's the best Master Duel format because... or event format, rather, because I think that event formats should really challenge you to deck build in a different way, and I don't feel like any of them besides NR really achieve that, right? When you're locked into or out of certain attributes or extra decks, you know, stuff, then it really just kind of comes down to, all right, what's the best meta deck that meets the criteria, right? But you can't do that at all with NR format. You have to either get creative or really explore and get engaged with the community to pool together and, you know, make optimized lists, which is what I really like about the Yu-Gi-Oh community in general, is when we, you know, all come together to cook cool stuff and advance our knowledge of the meta. I think that's by far the biggest benefit of the community. So, like I said, I really want to record more of this. I think I'm actually just about to do that here as soon as I'm done recording this, which is coming up here. Thanks for watching. I know this is a shorter one. These duels were shorter than I expected them to be, but like I said, I do look forward to some more NR format content tomorrow. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Like I always say, that is the best way to support not just me, but any small YouTube channel. So it really, really does mean a lot. Speaking of supporters, we have a bunch of very, very cool YouTube members to thank, so, and patrons. Let's do that now. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.